Hey everybody, I have Donkey Kong with me today because he's an ape, and I am about to review Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the prequel to both the original and the remake of Planet of the Apes. So let me get started because most of you are probably anxious to hear how good or bad Rise of the Planet of the Apes was. And for those of you who are wondering, it is a good movie. In fact, it's a very good movie. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It is directed by Rupert Wyatt. It stars James Franco and John Lithgow, and Andy Serkis as Caesar, the main ape of the movie. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is a prequel to, like I said, the original and the remake of Planet of the Apes. So how it all works in this movie is, um, it takes place in like an animal testing lab, and James Franco thinks he discovers a cure for Alzheimer's disease. And so he pitches it to a group of people that he works with at this meeting, and they're all for this. They think it's going to work. They think that the ape testing went well for this new cure, and so they're going on to human subjects. Since James Franco's father is suffering from Alzheimer's, or Alzheimer's, whatever you want to pronounce it as. Um, so he decides to test on his dad first, since his dad is suffering from this disease that he's trying to cure. So he tests it out on his dad, and who's played by John Lithgow, and it actually works out great. He is in better condition. He's starting to memorize more things. He's more aware of what's going on. It's working great, and it's working great on the apes too. However, as time progresses, James Franco's character starts to realize that not only is this effective on the apes, it's also making the apes more intelligent. Um, and Caesar, who he eventually raises at his home, is just born at this point in the movie. It turns out his mother got loose during one of the testings of a different product. It was something to kind of trigger that cure that James Franco made. It didn't work out. She escaped. She was just destroying things. She was on the loose. They put her down, to say the least. And the reason why they learned why she was freaking out during that second testing was because she was trying to protect her baby ape, who is Caesar. So James Franco decides to take care of Caesar since the whole testing of his medicine cure thing was pretty much done with. He takes Caesar back at his home. Caesar starts to learn more like a human than an ape. He starts to realize, telling somebody when he wants things like food and water. James Franco teaches him things, certain symbols like I want food or it's time to go home and stuff like that. So whenever he does these symbols to him, James Franco knows what he's talking about since Caesar's not quite talking yet at this point. But where the Planet of the Apes portion comes into the movie is when Caesar's at the home, at James Franco's home, and he starts to get violent on people because he's very protective of James Franco and John Lithgow. He starts to grow attached to these people. Also, at this point in the movie, James Franco has a relationship with a girl that he knows from a lot of the laboratory stuff that he does. Caesar is also very protective of her. The neighbor is in a way, the neighbor's kind of protective of his land also. So when Caesar gets onto his land one day, the neighbor freaks out. Caesar reacts, starts pounding him into the ground. Caesar gets taken away by an organization, by the government, and James Franco realizes that he cannot get Caesar back until it's proven that he doesn't have violent behavior. So at this, to say the least, this ape keep, in a way, Caesar's surrounded by apes that aren't trained like a human. He's the only human-like ape in the whole facility. So he gets to talk to and meet other apes in this playground area of this facility, and that's where the Planet of the Apes portion comes into play. Caesar starts to realize that he is an ape. He's treated like an ape. The people there treat him like garbage. Kind of like what you saw in the first Planet of the Apes film where Charlton Heston gets sprayed on with the hose, where he has like this whip thing so people can tug him around. All that is happening to Caesar, and that's kind of what triggers his mind of what he could do if he ran the planet. Um, so Caesar starts to kind of observe humans. He starts to realize how to unlock and lock doors, combinations to passwords to get into certain places. He starts to really observe people about those things. And once Caesar communicates with another ape through kind of this ape sign language that they have in this one scene with this orangutan in this facility, both him and Caesar plan out a way to escape the facility and kind of take over the planet so that way they don't have to be tortured anymore and don't have to eat these awful meals and they don't have to be hurt anymore. They can run the planet themselves. So at this point in the film, James Franco does enough to get Caesar back. There's enough testing done to prove that Caesar isn't violent anymore. But Caesar doesn't want to come home because he wants to organize this whole Planet of the Apes deal with the other apes. Um, so at this point in the film, this is where the Planet of the Apes things definitely comes into play. Um, Tom Felton, I believe his name is, the kid who played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. He is one of the kids that treats the apes like garbage, and he's also one of the first victims when the apes start to take over the planet. Um, so without giving too much of the film away, at this point in the film, this is where the apes truly take over the planet. And if you've seen the trailer for this film, you see them on this bridge, and that's when the whole Planet of the Apes deal comes into play. So this movie was very good. I really enjoyed this movie. Um, I must say, I am a fan of the Tim Burton version. I think that's still my favorite Planet of the Apes film. But this is a very good movie nonetheless. It is the special effects were good. The the apes were very realistically made. The relationship between James Franco and Caesar, I thought, was very effective. That worked out really well. Environments were very good. I liked almost every reference from to the original and the remake of Planet of the Apes. All of those were very good. Um, so yeah, guys, this is actually a very good movie. In fact, it's better than some other summer films right now. I would rank it better than Transformers 3 and Cowboys and Aliens and Captain America. It is better than all of those, but it is not better than like Harry Potter and Source Code and a bunch of other great stuff that came out. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it is very good. I do recommend seeing either the original or the Tim Burton remake before seeing this one because it's more fun seeing all the references to the original and the remake once you see this movie. It is very good, guys. I highly recommend this movie. 8 out of 10 from me. See Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It actually is very good.